Named for James Monroe, the fifth president of the United States, Fort Monroe took 15 years to build. It was begun by employing slave labor, which was gradually replaced by military convicts. The granite for the walls came from rock quarries in Virginia and Maryland, while the other building material was supplied by local contractors. Upon its completion in 1834, Fort Monroe cost nearly $2 million and covered 63 acres of land, with its walls stretching 1.3 miles around. Depending on the tide, the water in the moat ranges from 3 to 5 feet deep, and it's fed through a gate from Mill Creek. Atop Fort Monroe's stone walls is one of the most intriguing aspects of Fort Monroe, a pet cemetery that acts as a reminder to the hundreds of pets lost to the people of Fort Monroe. Dogs, cats, birds, rabbits, all sorts of animals are laid to rest atop the stone parapets. Walking along the top of the stone fort, you'll see hundreds of stone markers denoting the final resting place of family members. Some headstones read, "Loved by," while others still bear the tears shed over the passing of a family member. "In my heart, and here lies a part of our lives." Others speak to the characteristics of loved pets. Foxy, for example, was a Fort Monroe Frisbee champ. The oldest known headstone dates to 1936, but it's believed that over 400 pets rest atop Fort Monroe. Officially closed in 1988. In the distance, you'll see the Old Point Comfort Lighthouse. It's one of the oldest standing structures found on the peninsula today. The lighthouse stands as a navigational beacon on Old Point Comfort and was thought to be active as early as 1775. Upon the formation of the United States government, lighthouses were identified as critical to the economy. After the War of 1812, Fort Monroe became the first and largest masonry fort built during the Third Fort System of Defense. Begun in 1819 and completed in 1834, Fort Monroe is the largest masonry fortification constructed in the United States and the Western Hemisphere. Over time, the fort has been constantly adapted and reutilized as the needs of the nation's defense has changed. Home to the Artillery School of Practice and later the Coast Artillery Training School, numerous soldiers and their families occupied the houses and billets, transforming Fort Monroe into a small town unto itself. Fort Monroe National Monument, the museum, shares over 400 years of history. The roles and uses of casements varied over time. Casements were constructed as gun positions, but also used to house soldiers, store weapons and ammunition, and hold prisoners. Chief Black Hawk in 1833. Jefferson Davis was also imprisoned at Fort Monroe after his capture in Georgia in 1865. In 1828, Edgar Allan Poe served in the Army under the name of Edgar Perry, and he was assigned to Fort Monroe. Poe returns to Fort Monroe in 1849 to recite his poetry at the hotel. Major history lesson that I did not know is that just 6 weeks after the Civil War began, three slaves, Frank Baker, James Townsend, and Shepard Mallory, escaped from behind Confederate lines and sought refuge at Fort Monroe in Hampton, Virginia. Commanding General Benjamin Butler refused to return fugitives and declared the three men contraband of war. Soon, thousands of enslaved African Americans from all over the region descended on Fort Monroe. In 1619, the first enslaved Africans arrived in America, in the United States. Hampton is also where the first African American child was born, named William Tucker. Robert E. Lee, of course, as you know, was stationed at Fort Monroe, and Jefferson Davis was imprisoned there at the conclusion of the Civil War. Edgar Allan Poe and Harriet Tubman both spent time at Fort Monroe, and Abraham Lincoln stayed there during assault on Norfolk. The last time sitting president was actively involved in a military campaign. Fort Monroe is open to the public, and all you have to do is drive in. The Casemate Museum is operated by the Commonwealth of Virginia through the Fort Monroe Authority. Admission is free, and the facility is wheelchair accessible. It's open daily from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and closed Thanksgiving, December the 24th, December the 25th, and January the 1st. I would call and check on the dates that they're open, because when we were there, they were closed on Monday.